Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm taking you with me today to an outing that we just took to see some of Mexico's history located right here in Queretaro. From where we live, it's just a little ways past downtown. So we stopped to grab some coffee, do some shopping, see some of the very interesting Christmas decorations, and headed off to the park to learn some history. This is actually a very pretty park. Tell me again how you call those?
Nochebuenas.
Nochebuenas. This is so pretty. It's so much prettier than I expected. I thought you told me it was just going to be a stone slab.
I thought that because, again, this guy was a trader for the official history. But now I think that they're making this, trying to give this a more patriotic sense.
Kind of patriotic.
Because people were like, they hate this guy so much because he was an outsider. And people were like, how can be an outsider ruling us?
Oh,
You know?
Yeah, okay.
But this guy was doing extremely well. Extremely well.
Do you think that's it right there?
I think that's pretty much it. It should be the very same place where they shot him dead. They're saying that. They're saying that, oh my god.
We really should take one of those tour buses. That sounds so cool.
I know the history. I should know.
I guess. You're my tour guide.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to put his name on anything, but it should be the same. This should be his grave.
So did they like assassinate him or execute him?
Executed him for crimes against the country.
Oh.
How to say? Betrayed? Treason?
Treason.
Treason, for that.
Oh, the view's really nice from up here.
It is.
Statue of?
The guy that killed him.
So this is like a place where they executed people?
Yeah. It was like that, but they used a very specific place. I don't remember why. For him. He and his generals were executing him by this guy.
Wow.
But he didn't shoot, right?
Okay. He just ordered it.
Yeah.
This is a really cool place though. Even though it's a execution place.
It feels so weird.
So, where are we?
We are in Cerro, Campanas, where is the place Maximilian from Habsburg was killed, was shot at because of treason on Mexico. The reason of that was that the guy was ruling Mexico as an empire. He was the emperor of Mexico, but he was an outsider. He came from the Habsburg family. He ruled because Mexico was ruled by a coalition of France, England, and Spain, I think. We have big debt with them back in the day, 1850, something like that. So they came here with a very strong army of a mixture of countries. They won, and they put this guy in power for, I think it was 4 years. The guy was actually doing very nice. Mexico was doing very well back in the time. It was an empire though, but the emperor was doing very well, right? So
And giving people like rights.
Giving indigenous people rights. The guy was so in love with the country that the guy was learning native languages, not even Spanish. The guy was a very smart guy. Actually, he spoke like English and German, French, Spanish. He was learning the native language here. He wasn't very interested in the native culture, and the guy was doing very, very well. Right? He never was involved, nor his government, into a massacre or crimes against indigenous people, nor any people I can think about actually. The guy was never involved in violating human rights, even though he came from Europe, where like those kind of things were a little bit in.
In.
Right. But there was a small group of people here in Mexico that didn't like it because in part he was an outsider, and in other part they were like trying to look for some privileges because the guy was having the idea of making an empire out of hard work, achieving goals, creating industry and all sorts of things that these people were not comfortable with. They wanted more like sitting in an office and having good money out of it. No, yeah, I'm not kidding.
So like rich people had a problem with him?
Rich people basically have a very big problem with him because he was trying to improve the working conditions of the very low level workers here. Yeah, rich people here, they don't like, some rich people here don't like that. So these people don't like that at all, and they started creating like rebel groups to fight the empire's army. And in order to do that, they needed like weapons and everything, and they came to the Americans under the excuse that they needed democracy in Mexico, not the empire there, which is curious because they never complained about it before, never ever, until we got this guy here. And so they got weaponry, they got training, they got a lot of stuff, a lot of support, and Maximilian was having a lot of support of France mainly. But since Napoleon started like getting into wars that he couldn't afford, he he needed to stop supporting this guy in Mexico. It was way too far, and it was like a long-term inversion, which he didn't have time for. Maximilian stopped having support. He had like a very nice trained army still, so he lost too many battles on the rebel groups. Finally they got him in Mexico City, where he never tried to escape actually, and they knew that they needed to kill him because the guy had very tremendous ideas, and the guy was beloved by too many people in the country. And so they brought him here and accused him of treason against Mexico. The only crime was that he was an outsider, he was ruling Mexico. And under the constitution that they wrote in that time, they instead that none of foreign could ever rule Mexico. So he was accused of that and got shot here. With his most loyal generals, who were also Mexicans, they were also accused of treason.
They were accused of treason?
They were Mexican born.
Oh.
Yeah, he never got like people from Europe to help him rule here. He always was trying to get local people, like in the head governments and everything. He put always on Mexican people, right? So they were, with more reason, accused of treason because of serving to an outsider rule in Mexico. They all got shot here, right up there, yeah. And now they put a statue of the guy, the guy that became president after he ordered Maximilian to get shot.
Yeah. Well, the narrative here, and the reason that there's a big statue, is that like democracy
came right.
democracy won out, I guess, right?
Yeah. So these groups have obviously a leader that was this guy Benito Juarez. And he came up with the idea that Mexico needed democracy. It was obviously a fake democracy.
Was it?
Yeah, because he never got elected, he never got voted, and he left the power only because there was another guy that came after him and saying that the guy had been in power for too many years without being voted, and they had another war because of that.
Like a civil war?
Like a smaller than that. But
okay.
So he was basically taken down from power by force. But he created a constitution, they modified the constitution a little bit, and the constitution has been modified a little bit up from those days to now. But this guy, Benito Juarez, is officially a national hero.
Okay.
The very first president, the very first guy who wrote the constitution. And so so many bad things you could say about him, but
really?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, you could say bad things about most people in history.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Not from Maximilian.
You sound like a fan.
I am a fan. I am a fan.
Sky is turning red, but now